gonna start standing up. We're gonna do our Tai Chi, so you're just gonna lift your heels, move your body, just get going. Let your body start to move. You're lifting your heels so that your whole body moves. You don't have to take a step, right? But getting everything to move. Now, once you feel nice and loose here, we'll come to a stop. We're gonna do our skiers. So bring your feet together, take your hands up to the sky. And then from there, you're gonna bend your knees, send your hips back and down, put your belly to your thighs, sweep your hands back behind you so your palms are up. And then you're gonna push forward, come back up. A little further back so you guys can still see me. All right, and then we're gonna do that 9 more times. So come, bend forward, push your hands back, come back up. 8 more. Whoosh. Call them skiers just like you're skiing. 6 more. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. We're gonna come up and we're gonna take our hands down. Now we're gonna take our feet out super wide. Your toes pointed forward, your hands up to the sky. And then from there, you're gonna take your left hand to your right ankle, right hand up to the sky, come back up. Just go back and forth here, alternating your sides, left hand to right ankle, right hand to left ankle. Keep everything straight as we do these. Keep your legs straight, keep your arms straight, keep your back flat. Your legs start to stretch and open. Your core starts to work. All right, let's just do 2 more each way. 2. 2. Last one. 1. And 1. All the way up. And then sweep your hands down. Now toe your feet together. We're gonna bring it down to the mat. You're gonna try to do that without using your hands, right? So maybe you just bend your knees and lift your heels. Maybe you crisscross your feet and let your knees bend out to the side. Maybe you drop one knee at a time. Bring yourself all the way down. Now, we're gonna do our basic hook line scoops here so we warm up. And then we're gonna do the hundreds, which we haven't done in a while. We're gonna do those today, right? So we're gonna warm up for that first. You're gonna take your arms out long, make fists with your hands. Bring your elbows to your ribs. And then you're gonna tuck your chin to your chest. You're looking down at your belly. Go halfway down here. Right, so you wanna come right to that place where you feel the core engage, like you wanna go all the way down or come back up, right? You don't wanna hang out here. It's really making your core work. Keep the elbows glued to the sides the whole time. As you're coming down, as you're down to this halfway point, you should be looking at your belly. But now we're gonna come back up. As you come back up, you're gonna push your belly all the way to your thighs. You lift your chin up off your chest. You're looking up at the horizon line. The whole time, elbows glued to the ribs, all right? Let's do that 10 more times. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. 1. Push all the way up, hug around your knees, take your chin to your chest, right? So now let your forehead go toward your knees, release that low back and the hip flexors, which are just working. All right, from here, we're gonna lay all the way down on our back. Take your arms out long, tuck your chin to your chest, come all the way back down. With your hands, come to the mat, walk your heels closer. What we're gonna do here first, right? You're just gonna pick your feet up and come into floating table, right? Flex your feet so your toes are coming back towards your face. We're gonna do our heel taps first And we're going to go into our hundreds. Now, as we do the heel taps, if you want to, you can lift your head and shoulders already, right? This will be the position that our head and shoulders are in. We do the hundreds, fingertips reaching forward, head and shoulders off the mat. If you want to do this part with your head down or with your head and shoulders down, you can. And all we're going to do here, you're going to keep this perfect L shape in your leg. Knee right over the hip, half parallel to the ground. You're going to take your right leg and you're going to drop your right heel to the ground. So you're just moving at the hip, right? Because you can't move your knee. You got to keep that L shape. So just drop that right heel. Do a little tap, tap. Pull it right back up where it was. Now do that the other way. Drop your left heel. Tap, tap. Pull it back up. Right? So we're just alternating our sides here. Right leg, back to floating table. Left leg, back to floating table. Exhale as you do that. So it's, and then you inhale, bring it up. Okay. Inhale up. Inhale up. So let's just do it 4 more times each side. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2. Last one. 1. All right. Now let your head and shoulders come down. Hug your knees in. We're going to go back to that floating table. We're going to try to do both legs together with those heel taps, all right? So you're bringing your legs to that floating table again, knees over the hips, calves parallel to the ground, pull your head and shoulders up, bring your heels together. You're going to drop both heels to the ground, tap, tap, pull them up, tap, tap, pull them up. All right, so let's do that 5 more times. 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. All right, now let your head and shoulders come down here. Take your knees into your chest. Now from here, we're going to go all the way into our hundreds. So come back to that floating table. And everybody's going to lift the head and shoulders here. You can have your head down on the mat if you need to, right? But if you can keep it elevated, keep it elevated. You have to keep your shoulders and your fingertips elevated. That's what's going to engage your core. And you can stay right here in this floating table the whole time. So we pat, 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 and count to 100, right? If you want to make it more from floating table, as we count to 5, you'll take your feet up to the sky, and then to the next count of 5, you'll bring it back to floating table. If you're really feeling inspired today, you start with your feet straight up to the sky. As we count to 5, you drop them to a 45-degree angle. And then to the next count of 5, they go straight back up, right? There's 3 different options. You can hold the floating table. You can go from floating table to straight up, or you can go from straight up to a 45. Right? I don't want you to hold with your feet straight up. That's a little bit too easy. You're taking that. You are taking that floating table if you want to hold. Now, the other option you have, as we count to 5, you can flip your hands up and down. A lot of people like to do that. Right? You don't have to. I don't think you get that much out of it, except maybe a little more arm work. But if that feels good to you, if that helps you keep the rhythm, then you can do that. All right? So let's start here. When you're ready, find your starting position. I'm going to do the middle level. Right? That doesn't mean that's what you have to do. You do what is best for you. Make it harder, make it easier. All right, here we go. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exhale. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Inhale. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Exhale. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Inhale. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Exhale. 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Inhale. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Exhale, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Inhale, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. Exhale, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. Inhale, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65. Exhale, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Inhale, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Exhale, 76, 78, 79, 80. Inhale, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Exhale, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. Inhale, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95. Exhale, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. All right, let your head and shoulders come down. Hug your knees into your chest. That was a lot on my Head and shoulders. I haven't done those in a while. Right? We need to do those more often. All right. Let's do our roll-ups here. I'm going to come straight ahead so you guys can see. Hopefully, we're going to go a little bit of a diagonal. So I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. So you're still lying down on your back. You're going to take your arms overhead. So your fingertips are reaching towards the back of your mat. Put your toes like they're the tip of a pencil. Taking that deep stretch here right now. And then you're going to point your toes up towards the sky. As we do our roll-ups, right? The straight up roll-ups, you just feel your head and shoulders up off the mat, and then kind of reach towards your toes. You're going to C curve with your spine. You can do that. That's what you're going to do, right? Now, if this is hard for you, and as you're coming up and down, right, you look like this, and your feet and your hands have to go to get you up. I don't want you to do that, right? You can do the dead bug. That's always an option. That's where one leg comes up, the other leg comes up. So your legs are straight overhead. You reach your fingertips up towards your toes, and you roll up in that shape. So you can do dead bugs if you can't keep your heels on the ground when you come up and down. That's where you should be. If you're good with the straight ups, then you should do those, right? We're trying to do 10 total. I've done 4. If, as you're doing these, and you're doing the straight up ones, and then all of a sudden you find that you're getting tired and your heels start to lift, then switch and finish off with your dead bugs. If you're doing the dead bugs, they seem pretty easy today. Maybe try a couple and you finish off just doing the straight up, see how your body responds. I'm going to do 3 more here. 3. 2. And 1. All right, as you finish up that last one, come all the way down to your back. We're going to do a little sequence right here. Look at my notes. Remember what we're doing. All right, you're going to come all the way down to your back. You're going to take your feet up to the sky. Right, seems like this right now. Now, you're going to lift your head and shoulders up off the mat, like we just did in the hundreds, right? That's how we warmed up for it. Now, take your left foot, drop it down, so your left heel just hovers the mat. Right, your right leg is going straight up, so you're making that L shape with your legs. Right now from here, take your left leg, pull it all the way up, and then drop your right leg down. So your right heel's hovering. The lower you go with your right leg, the harder it is. Maybe you're not going that low. Maybe try to get as low as you can without letting that heel hit the ground. Try to keep your head and shoulders elevated. Now pull your right leg up. We're just going to do that twice more each way. So you're going to drop your left leg, let it hover. Okay, get back up to the sky. The right heel drop. Okay, get back up to the sky. Do one more time like that each side. Right leg drops. Back up. Left leg drops. Back up. All right, so now your feet are up to the sky. Let your head and shoulders come down. Now you're going to take your arms out to a T, right? So your hands are long. Now, like we did before, right? You're going to drop your left heel all the way to the ground, so your left heel is hovering the mat. And then from there, you're going to peel your left hand up. Reach your left fingertips towards your right toes. Now you got to get your left shoulder off the ground. See, my left shoulder is off the ground. My right hand can stay on the ground, right? My right shoulder, but my head lifts off the ground. My left shoulder lifts off the ground, so you're getting into those obliques, all right? Now you're going to let your head and shoulders, left head and left shoulder come back down. Take that left arm out, back out to a T. Then pull that left leg up. Drop that right heel down. Let it hover. Now from here, you're going to take your right hand, reach it up, reach your right shoulder up off the ground, reach your right fingertips towards your left toes. It's that L shape with your leg. You're just reaching with your right hand. Now bring your head and shoulders back down. Hold the right leg up. So we're just going to keep going there, alternating our sides. So drop your left heel, let it hover. Heel the right hand up. Come back down. Bring your right leg up. Let your left heel hover. Or I said that backwards. Let your right hand hover. Doesn't matter, just as long as you're alternating sides, lift up. Right? So the leg that drops down, in this case my left, is the hand that reaches up. You're reaching your opposite hand toward your opposite toes up at the sky. All right, let's do a couple more here on each side. Let's do 3 more each side. 3. 2. Last one like this. One. One. All right, now your feet go back up to the sky. Now your arms are going to go overhead. Okay? Those flex into your feet. Make sure your heels are right over your hips. We're just going to feel ourselves up here. Your head and shoulders come up off the mat. Reach both hands toward your toes. And then you're going to come all the way back down. So we're going to do that. Let's do it 7 more times. So 8 total. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Right, now from here, we're going to bend the knees, hug into your chest. All right, last thing here with the legs straight to the sky. You're going to take both legs straight up to the sky. Now you're going to reach your hands forward again. Lift your head and shoulders like we did in the very beginning, right? And then all we're going to do here, right, you're going to lift up to reaching forward. If you're trying to grab something just in front of you, so reach forward, and you're coming back, not letting your head and shoulders hit the ground, but coming a little bit back, right? Just like a pulse. 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 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let your head and shoulders come back down. Take your knees, put them in to your chest. All right, now from here, just roll to one side or the other. Push ourselves up. All right, now we're going to come around. From here, we're going to come at first into kind of a down dog, right? But not like in yoga. So you're coming to hands and knees pose. You're going to tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back. Now, take your hands a little bit wider. Take your feet a little bit closer in. What you're trying to do here is get your heels to touch the ground. Now, once we're there, you're going to take your right leg, lift it up, kick it straight back behind you. Okay? And then kick that right leg over to the left, or to the right, sorry. And then take that right leg, drop it back down. Right now, we're going to do that the other way. You're taking that left leg, bring it up, and then kick it out to the left. I'm going to look at myself. See what I'm doing. And then drop that left foot down. So remember, your feet are in close enough that your toes are on the ground. Now, you're going to take that right leg up again. This time, you're just kicking it straight back behind you. And then see if you can take your right hand, reach it towards your left ankle. Here. Now, that's not going to happen, right? Then you're just keeping your right hand down on the mat. All right, now drop that right hand back down, drop that right foot back down. We're going to try that going the other way. All right, so you're taking the left leg, kicking up. This time, just keep it straight back behind you. That's what's going to let you keep your balance. And then take your left hand, bring it over the right ankle. And then take it, drop it back down. All right, now one more thing here, right? You're going to take that left leg, kick it up to the sky. I said right leg, hopefully, right? Kick that right leg out to the right. Now you're going to take your left hand and pick it up. Now, you're just going to take that left hand. Maybe you're taking it straight out to the left. Maybe you're reaching it forward. Maybe you take it and put it on your low back. Right now, if that's not going to work, just keep that right leg kicking out to the right. Keep your left hand on the ground. Now, what you're going to do from here, see if you can start to walk your right hand back to your left foot. Right, if that's not going to happen, just stay where you are on the down dog. There we go. Now, walk that right hand back out. If you walked it in, back to that down dog position. Up. And then from there, drop the left hand down, drop the right foot down. We're gonna do that one more time on the other side. So make sure you get those heels in close enough that the feet in close enough that your heels on the ground. You're gonna take that left leg up and you're gonna hit to the left. Once you're there, see if you can take that right hand, reach it up, either reach it forward, take it out to the side, or wrap it around your back. Okay. Now, if you need to keep that right hand on the ground, just stay right there. Kicking that left foot to the left, keeping the right hand on the ground. If you've lifted everything up, then maybe you start to try to walk your left hand back towards your right foot into balance position. Really, I should be kicking my left foot out to the left as I do this, but I'm over to the right, so I'm trying to counterbalance. All right, now we're gonna walk that left hand back out, back into your down dog position, and then drop your right hand, drop your left foot. Now drop to your knees. Flatten your feet, shift your hips back. The child's pose. All right, that was a lot of fun, right? All right, we're gonna work a little bit more here, okay? And you're gonna come into tabletop. Now, what you're gonna do here from tabletop, tuck all 10 toes under, and you're just gonna lift your knees a little bit up off the mat. So they're just hovering like an inch off the mat, just like this, right? Now, pick up your right foot and just kick it long behind you. Left heel still hovering, right? The left knee still hovering. Bring that right knee back in, still hovering. Now take your left foot, kick it out long. Drop it back down. Take your right arm, see if you can reach it forward. Drop it back down. Take your left arm, reach it forward. Drop it back down. Do that one more whole round through. Take your right leg long, left knee hovers, bring it back in. Left leg long, right knee hovers, bring it back in. Take your right arm out, bring it back in. Left arm out, bring it back in. And then drop down to your knees, flatten your feet. Shift back to child's pose. All right, now we're gonna come back up here. And then as you come back up, we're gonna let our hips come to one side or the other. We have another thing we're gonna do, but from plank, but I just realized that we're probably gonna take a little break with the arms or you guys are gonna wanna kill me. So we're gonna do this one first. We're gonna lay back down on our back. Right, so as you lay back down on your back, now you're gonna bring those legs to your floating table again. All right. That, knees over the hips. Now, we did this last week. We're gonna do this again. You're gonna take your elbows and bring your elbows to an L shape. So that your hands, like if you drop them all the way down, they'd be framing your face. Your elbows are pointed towards your knees. Knees are right over the hips. Now, you can lift your head and shoulders here as you do this. Make it a little bit more. You can keep your head and shoulders down. Make it a little less, up to you, right? You're gonna take your feet, just like we did earlier, right, in those heel taps. You're gonna drop your heels to the ground without changing the L shape in your legs. Okay, so your legs are still in an L. Now, you're gonna move your hands back behind you, touch your fingertips to the mat behind your head without changing that L shape in your arms. So you still got that 90-degree bend in your elbow. Then from there, everything's gonna lift up. You're gonna pull it all in until your elbows and your knees touch each other. So you're still in that L shape, but maybe your tailbone pulls a little bit off the mat, right? As you bring your knees in, lift a little higher to get those elbows closer to your knees, right? And then we come all the way back to where we were. Tap your heels to the ground, tap your fingertips back behind your head, all right? So we're gonna do that 10 more times. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, and 1. All right, now pick everything back up, hug those knees into your chest. Now from here, come back to floating table, right? Take your fingertips and just bring your fingertips behind your neck. All right, so now your elbows are up to the sides. The legs are still at that floating table. Now, we're gonna do our little bicycles here. We did these last week with the block, right, or the block equivalent. We're gonna do our alternating ones here, just the traditional bicycles. So you're gonna kick your left leg all the way along. So your left heel just hovers the mat. You're gonna keep your right elbow anchored to the ground, peel your left shoulder up and bring your left shoulder towards your right knee. It's not gonna touch, and try not to lead with your left elbow. You don't need to flap the left elbow around, right? Just lift the left shoulder up. It might not get very close, that's okay. And then you come back down, let your head and your left elbow come back to the mat, pull that left knee in. Now do it the other way, take your right leg long, right heel hovers the mat, peel that right shoulder up, bringing your right shoulder towards your left knee. Now you can see here on the camera right now, my left elbow didn't leave the ground when I came up, right? Come back down, pull that right knee back in. So you're just gonna alternate here. Now we send the left leg long and we peel the left shoulder up, keeping the right elbow anchored. We send the right leg long, we peel the right shoulder up, keeping the left elbow anchored. So you're just going back and forth here, trying to do about 10 on each side. I'm gonna do 4 on each side. 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and last one. And 1. And then come all the way back down. Hug those knees back into your chest. All right, now we're gonna rock back up, right? So take your hands to the crease of your knees, rock yourself up, right? And we're gonna do a little more plank work now that our arms have had a chance to recover. All right, so this first move that we're gonna do, it's called the wood chopper. My notes so I can make sure I remember exactly how we position ourselves. All right, oh, that's right, okay. So you're gonna come with your arms wide, right? And you're gonna come back into plank. So plank looks like this, right? I've got my shoulders right over my wrists. Now, am I one straight line from my shoulders down to my heels? My hips aren't piked up and they're not dropping down, right? Everything's in one straight line. Now you can be on your knees here, right? But you're still not piking your hips and you're still not dropping them, right? So you gotta be one straight line from your shoulders to your knees if you're gonna do this from your knees. Now, whether you're doing it from your shoulder, from your toes or your knees, you're gonna drop down to your left forearm, right? So now I'm here. So I've got my left shoulder over my left elbow. Now your right hand's still out, right? What you're gonna do here, you're gonna drop your heels to the left. Take your right hand up to the sky. Put that right hand back down flat. Come back around so that you're back in that plank position, right? Just down on your left elbow. So you drop the heels to the left, you lift the right arm. Right arm comes back down, you take the hips back to plank, right? Got it? I'm looking at you. You look like you do. If you're on your knees, it looks like this. I should show that, right? You sweep your feet over to the left as you lift up, and then you come back. All right, so let's do 5 more here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now come back around, let your knees come down, shift yourself back to child's pose. All right, now we're gonna do that wood chopper on the other side. So we're gonna come back up into tabletop. Take your arms a little wider, step it out to plank or modified plank. Here, we're gonna drop down to the right elbow, right? So your right forearm, so you've got your right shoulder over your right elbow, that left arm still in plank position. We drop both heels to the right, take your left hand up to the sky. Take that left hand back down, come back to your toes, point your hips towards the ground. So your hips open to the left, your hips point towards the ground. Hips open to the left, point towards the ground. If you're on your knees, it's this, right? Feet sweep to the right, so the left arm lifts, they sweep back to center. Right, so keep going. We're gonna do 6 more here. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And then drop down to your knees. Shift it back to child's pose. All right, so for this next one, we're gonna come up back into tabletop. As you come into tabletop, let your hips go to one side or the other. Now you're gonna bring your legs around in front of you. And I'm gonna come back here so that I have space and you guys can see my whole body. Now from here, right, you're gonna drop down to your forearms. Do this, all right, I'm gonna do this, we'll see. Hopefully I can make you guys see it. All right, now you're gonna push into your feet and you're gonna lift your hips up, right? Now, your right leg is gonna kick up, right? And then you're gonna take your left elbow lifted up, right? And then your left elbow and your right knee come together. And you take it all that long. So you're here. So your hips are lifted. Right? Now you can drop the hip if you absolutely have to, right? You really get that crunch in, but your right forearm stays dropped. You can keep your hips lifted, really press into that left foot. Oof. All right, I'm gonna do it. Here we go. We're gonna do 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oof. All right, now drop everything down. You'll let yourself lay all the way down. Hug the knees into the chest. All right, and let's bring ourselves back up. All right, we're back in midline. Now we gotta do that again, just one more time on the other side. So here, you're coming down to your forearms. You're pushing your hips up. So this time, your left leg is gonna kick long. Your right arm is gonna go long. You bring that right elbow and the left knee together. So in and out, pushing through that right foot, keeping your hips lifted. If you gotta drop that left hip down, it's here, really emphasize the crunch. Right. Let's do 8 more here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let everything drop down. Let yourself lay all the way down to your back. Take your knees, hug them in to your chest. All right, now from here, we're gonna do some basic Pilates things, like the hundreds, some basic Pilates exercises we haven't done in a while. So we're gonna start with our pinwheels. So you're gonna lay on your back and you're gonna take your feet up to the sky, right? I'm trying to get to a place here where I have enough space, right? Your arms are gonna go out to a T, your feet go straight up to the sky. You guys can see me, it's all good. Right now from here, you're gonna let your right foot start to fall over to the right. And as your right leg comes to the right, as you keep trying to push it towards the floor, eventually that left leg is gonna pull across the midline of your body. Might happen when you're a quarter of the way down, might happen when you're halfway down, might not happen until you're almost all the way down. But you're gonna let that right foot come to the ground and you're gonna let the left foot fall over and join it. So the left foot's just gonna stack on top of the right. Then you pull that left leg back up. It comes over. It starts to go over towards the left. Now, so at some point, it pulls the right leg up off the floor. And that's okay, right? Let the right leg pull up off the floor. Take that left leg all the way down to the left. And then just bring the right foot over to stack on top. Then we pull the right leg up. It comes up and over. Eventually pulls the left leg off the floor. When that happens, just let it happen. Right? And you take your legs all the way over to the right and stack them up. Right? So we're just going to keep going here, side to side. It's like a little pinwheel. That's what we call them, the pinwheels, right? Legs following the other. These can be what we call sneaky hard, right? Because at the beginning, they seem pretty easy. They seem pretty fun. You're like, yeah, we do this all day. And after we do a couple, it gets to be a little bit more challenging. So a couple more here. All right, we're just going to do one more each way, right? So we go all the way over to the right, and then go all the way over to the left. And this time, when you pick that right foot up, just stop it at the center, bring the left leg up to join it. And we're here, right? Back with our feet up to the sky and our arms in this T position. All right, now we're going to do our twist sequence from here. I know you guys remember this one. Maybe you've tried to block it out, right? So you're going to bend into your knees so that they're into your chest. Now we're going to drop our knees over to the right, but your knees aren't going to touch the ground. They're going to hover the ground, right? Just going to hold them up over the ground. Keep that left shoulder anchored to the ground. Then you're going to pull them back up to center, right? Now we're going to drop those knees over to the left. Hovering the knees over the mat. All right, now pull them back up to center. All right, now from here, right, we start to add on a little bit. So this, I should say this before, right? This sequence has progressions. It's going to get progressively harder. If it gets to a point where it's too hard for you, then you just don't do that progression and you stay at the one that you could do, the one that came right before it, right? And you just do that until we're done. It might be that you just take your knees each time over and hover them over the mat, or maybe you can add on some of the progressions. So we drop the knees over to the right here, hovering the mat. Maybe you stay right here. If you can, see if you can extend your legs long. Right? Then bend your knees, pull the knees back in. Now drop your knees over to the left, hover them over the mat, extend them long. Bring the knees back, bend back into the knees, pull them back to center. All right, so that was progression number 2. Here's progression number 3. You take your knees, you cover them to the right, kick them long. Now you take your bottom leg, that's your right leg, you tap it to the ground, and then you pull it back up. Do that twice more. Tap the right foot to the ground, pull it back up to join the left. Tap it to the ground, pull it back up. Bend back into your knees, pull them back to center. Let's try that on the left. A little off center here. So you're dropping your knees over to the left. Kick them long. Keep that bottom leg, this time the left leg. Tap it down, bring it back up to join the right. Tap it down, bring it to join the right. One more time, tap it down, bring it up to join the right. Bend into your knees, pull them back to center. All right, so now we have another progression to add on. You're going to drop your knees to the right. Kick them long. Take those taps to the right foot. Tap, tap, tap. So now your feet are together. You're going to keep that right hand on the mat, right? You're going to keep the right shoulder on the mat, right elbow on the mat. Just peel your left hand up. Reach up. Maybe your left shoulder picks up. Your right shoulder picks up. But you're reaching your left fingertips towards your right feet, or towards your feet over to the right. Now drop it all back down. Bend back into your knees. Pull them back up to center. All right, now we go to the left. So you drop your knees to the left. Kick them all the way long. Take those 3 taps to the left foot. Tap, tap, tap. And then from there, keep that right hand anchored, right elbow anchored, peel your left, or right, sorry, left hand, left elbow anchored. Peel your right hand up, lift your left shoulder so you're reaching your fingertips towards your toes on the left. Come all the way back down. Pull your knees back up to center and then bend back into them. All right, I'm going to turn sideways here completely so you guys can see what's going on with my left arm as we do this next part, okay? So I just changed my position so you guys can see me. I'm laying down. Now here's our second to last progression. You drop your knees over to the right. You extend them long. You're going to take those 3 taps, tap, tap, tap. Now, this time, I did this backwards. Oh. Okay. You want to see what's going on with my right arm. Okay, so we dropped our knees to the right. We did our taps. Now, you're going to keep your right palm anchored to the ground. But as you peel that left arm up, you're going to push in to that right palm so your right elbow lifts off the mat as you reach towards your toes with your left hand. All right, now we're going to come back down. Take that left arm all the way back out long, bend back into your knees, pull them back to center. All right, now I'm going to come this way. We're going to do that on the other side. So drop your knees over to the left. Extend them long. Take those 3 taps. Tap, tap, tap. And then you're going to peel your right hand up off the mat. You're going to press in that left palm. Let the left elbow lift off the mat as you reach your right fingertips towards your toes. Come all the way back down. Bend back into your knees. Pull them back to center. All right, we got one last progression here. So I'm flipping around. You'll see me on the right side. All right, so we're dropping the knees over to the right, extending them long. Take those taps with your right foot. Tap, tap, tap. Now, as your hands hover, now you're going to come up, you're going to peel that left shoulder up off the mat, left hand off the mat. You're going to try to come to your right fingertips here as you lift up, right? So you're not pressing into your palm, you're just pressing into your fingertips. And then let your right hand come back down, let your right elbow come down, all left hand goes back down, bend into your knees, bring them back to center. All right, very last progression here. So on the left side, so you bring those knees into your chest, drop them to the left, extend them long. Take those 3 taps, tap, tap, tap. And then from there, you're going to come up onto your left fingertips, press into those fingertips as you lift up. Reach your right hand towards your feet, drop on those left fingertips, left palms off the ground, left elbows off the ground, left shoulders off the ground. Let your left palm come back down, let your left elbow come back down, left shoulder comes back down, open back up with that right arm, bend into your knees, pull the knees back into your chest. All right, now we're going to let the feet come down to the mat. All right, and let's just work our back just a little bit here. We're going to do a little bridge flow. Now, if you can, you're going to take your arms overhead with your palms face up. So it looks like this. All right, so we take the arms out of it, really going to work the back. Just press into all 4 corners of the feet. Lift your hips up to the sky. All right, so you're in this bridge with your extended arms. Now, you're going to drop your hips back down, but you're not going to let them hit the mat, right? It's like we're doing those knee hovers. Your hips hover the mat. And then push them back up. Drop them down so they just hover. Push them back up. Do that 8 more times. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now let your hips come all the way down. Take your knees, hug them into your chest. All right, now drop your feet down to the mat. We're gonna do a little stretch / little core work here, right? But it starts with a basic stretch. It's gonna feel good. You're gonna pick your right foot up. Put your right ankle on top of your left knee. So you're opening up into that figure 4. So you're making that number 4 with your legs. Now you're gonna pick your left foot up. So to draw your left thigh towards your body. Take your right hand to the inside of your left thigh. Take your left hand to the outside of your left thigh. So you can interlace your hands around your left thigh. As you pull that left leg closer to you, you're going to feel a stretch in your right hip. You can kick this left leg up to the ceiling here, or maybe you drop that left heel all the way to your left glute. You can wrap your hands around your left shin, or you can stay where you are with that bent knee and hands around the thigh, right? Up to you. But in general, the closer you pull that left leg to your body, the more stretch you're going to feel in your right hip. So why don't you just take 4 or 5 breaths right here, feeling that sensation in your hip. From here, now you're going to release behind your left thigh, right? Let your left foot come back down to the mat. Right now, here's where we get a little bit of work, right? You're going to reach up. You're going to take your left hand and bring it to your right ankle. Your right arm is going to go out long in a T position, so your palms flat down. Now, let both knees fall over to the left. So your right foot's going to come flat to the ground. You still have your hand wrapped around that right ankle. You should feel this now. The stretch kind of goes to the outside. You can't see my hand. The outside of the right leg. You still get a little stretch in the hip. Try to push that right knee away from your body. Your right shoulder anchored to the ground. Ideally, you'd be looking over your right shoulder. And from there, you're going to release that right foot with your left hand. Take your left arm back out to a T. Use your right foot. Pull those knees back up to center. And let's switch it out. All right, so you're going to take your left foot or your right foot, put it on the ground. And then you're going to take your left knee, bring your left knee on top, or your left ankle on top of your right knee. So I'm turning around here, just so you can see it later, right? So we're here in this figure 4 with our left leg falling open. Now pick up your right foot, draw it in towards your body, draw your right thigh in towards your body. You can take that left hand to the inside of the right thigh, left hand to the outside, right hand to the outside of the right thigh, and you're pulling that right leg towards you. The more you pull it towards you, the more sensation you feel in that left hip. If you want to kick your right leg up to the sky, you can do that. If you want to drop the right heel to the right glute and wrap your hands around your shin, you can do that. Do what gives you the best stretch here. When we're doing these hip stretches, you want to find an edge. That's what I call it, right? That place where you know you don't want to hang out all day. You're feeling enough sensation. You're like, okay, don't want to stay here all morning. But you're not feeling so much sensation that you can't hang out here for the 3 or 4 breaths that we're going to be here, right? If that's happening, then you're going to back it off. Take that right leg a little bit further away from you. Okay, let's take 3 more breaths. From there, you're going to let that right foot come all the way back down to the mat. Then take your left arm, it's going to go out to a T. You're going to lift up, take your right hand all the way to your left ankle, right? And then let your knees fall over to the right so that your left foot comes flat to the ground. Right, that shoulder still anchored to the ground. Like I said, ideally you're looking over your right shoulder. You're pushing that left knee away from your body. Your core work a little bit as you grab onto the ankle. You're stretching that left leg in a different way. Right now from here, you're going to release that left ankle, right? Take your right arm back out long, and then pull that knee back up, both knees back up. So you're back in that figure 4. Now you're just going to take your right foot, step it next to your left, and let's just do one little pencil stretch here to finish off like we did when we started. You're taking your legs out long, your arms go overhead. So you're pointing your toes like the tip of a pencil towards the top of your mat. You're reaching your fingertips towards the back of your mat. letting everything lengthen out. Then from there, you're going to take your hands, drop them down to your sides, palms face down, and you're going to take both legs, lift them straight up to the sky. So we're here in waterfall. Now, if you want to go to your wall and put your legs against the wall so they're supported on a wall, you can do that. If you're just doing it in the center of your mat, like I am, right? And you just stay right here, keeping your heels right over your hips, really flexing your feet. With the soles of your feet, we're going to step on the ceiling. We're trying, whether you've got your legs supported by the wall or you're just in the center of your mat, you're trying to get the blood to go from your feet, we're at pool all day, back to your head and your heart where you need it more. Now, when you're ready to come out of this, right wherever you are, you're going to bend your knees. If you're against a wall, right, your feet are just going to come against the wall. If you're on your mat, then you're just bending your knees, curling them into your chest, and then everybody's going to roll over to one side or the other into a little fetal position. And then we're going to push ourselves all the way up. All right, and that is our Pilates for today.
Thanks, Paula.
We're feeling